Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Jenny on the Telly, even though it's kind of YouTube. I've got a really lovely guest on today and I can't wait for this interview because we hit it off, and in a way we connected online for quite some time, didn't we? And then I remember seeing Lyndsey in a room at a Gabrielle Bernstein event, and we didn't get to talk, we didn't get to speak. And sometimes you just see people online and you just kind of have a resonance with them, you connect with them. And quite literally, one day I was like, I keep thinking about Lyndsey. I'm just going to send her a message and say, I think we need to jump on Skype and chat. And that's exactly what we did.
We did.
We did, didn't we? So what Lyndsey shares is like just so juicy, so close to kind of, in a way, I think my life purpose, although who knows, I might find out that it's not my unique purpose from here. But I think what we share is a resonance. So if you're watching this live, thank you for joining us live. If you're watching the replay, feel free to, to pause it, stop it. Here's what I'd invite you to do. If you're a pen and notepad type of a person, grab it. There'll be things that'll be said. Maybe there'll be notes, maybe there'll be action points. I'm a big fan of when you hear stuff, rather than writing down something that one of us has said that you might like the sound of, I'm a big fan of asking you just to write down what you're going to do about that thing. So when Lyndsey says something that blows your brain and you think, oh my gosh, this is me, just write down, I'm going to explore more of what this is. Because we both do what we do because we want you to go out and be your awesome selves out in the world, regardless. Mm-hmm. So if for any reason you're watching this and the connection goes or dips or the screen freezes, it's modern technology. I can control a lot of stuff about what I do, but I can't control the internet. So if that's the case and anything like that happens, please bear with us. Feel free to rewatch this recording and get what you need from it. So here's like a conversation that we had as a precursor to this interview. Was I was asking Lyndsey, why she does what she does, but more specifically, like if you're watching this right now and you are looking and thinking to yourself, I just want to do something differently, be different in my life, think differently. There's one thing that you wanted, what's that for you watching this video? But I asked Lyndsey the same question. And Lyndsey's answer was pretty damn cool. So, Lyndsey, do you want to tell them what you said?
Well, I think that we're all here for a purpose. Whatever your sort of work background is, or whatever your beliefs are, I think we're all here with our own mission in mind. So it's just sort of tapping into that, really. And some of us do. We can go along for years and years and years in what Julia Cameron, who's the sort of great creative author, called like shadow roles. So we can be doing jobs that we're really, really brilliant at and sort of get paid well for, but it's not quite what we're supposed to be doing. And so what I help people with, what my life purpose is to help other people with their life purpose so that they really sort of shine, so they can become stars in whatever way that suits them. So becoming a star might mean, for business owner, becoming an expert and being seen and being in the media, which is something I also help with. But it's a lot about feeling great and, really sort of sparkling and feeling, really alive with what we do. So, yeah, and I think that comes from having our own specific life purpose and fulfilling that. And we only know whether we're, there when we just love it. We can't stop doing it. We can't stop thinking about it. It's what we do normally. It's what we talk about. It's what we get passionate about. It's what we see, what we're really interested in when we sort of see stuff on the TV or, when we're sort of searching YouTube. It's the stuff we're naturally passionate about. And everyone is different. We all sort of search different things. So, yeah, having that one life purpose and and going for it. And actually it might not be one thing, it might be a series of things. It might be that you're a great sort of traveler and you don't realize that's that and until you go and do it. But it's that being lit up inside so that other people can see you shine and you just feel amazing, and you know, you have this great impact on everyone around you because you are like, you're shining so brightly and not being afraid to shine as well. So yeah, tapping into that, tapping into your life purpose, because it's going to be the thing that sort of lights you up and, you know, sets the world on fire.
I so resonated with what you said there, because like, you know, through my own kind of personal development journey and finding different mentors and coaches, it's like each one kind of peels back another layer in you. And if I had to sum it up in the sentence, I would say something like, the thing that's so good about the whole kind of helping people get out there, increasing their visibility, is the liberation that it gives them. Whether they want to travel the world or whether they have a big family and they want to be able to take care of their family and do other stuff as well. There's a certain freedom that comes with it, the freedom that means that, like, I feel sometimes that I could do this all day long without breathing, eating, sleeping, you know?
I think you could too, Jenny.
It just uses me so much, yeah. A word of warning, I get really like enthusiastic and really overexcited, and sometimes I'll speak really, really quickly. And I've been told recently that I dropped my G's.
Oh,
so I'll say walking, not walking.
Okay, I'll pick you up on that. I won't, because it's you.
But you know what? I think this, for me, it demonstrates I do this because I love it. And yes, I could get better at doing things like including my G's. But you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me. And for anyone watching this, whether it's live or the recording, don't let little pieces of things that aren't quite perfect yet stop you. It's painful.
Yeah, because we've got to feel into it. And that freedom thing, I think it's often to do with money. We all want, you know, we don't earn money necessarily for the sake of money. We earn money for the things that we really, really want, to do more of the stuff that we really, really want. And again, that will be personal to us. We all have our own priorities, don't we? But I think when we're doing the thing that lights us up, then people become, you know, and we are shining, then and people see it, then people come to us, don't they? Our customers, if you own a business or, you know, you're at work, you know, our customers come to us, and that's when we can start charging the money to be free to do the things that make us shine even more. So it is like a win-win situation, really, because you're just enjoying yourself, and you're earning money to do more of the stuff that you enjoy, to enjoy yourself even more.
And this is the thing, I would say, watch this video from like 3 different perspectives. Put on your glasses from 3 different perspectives. So one is a business perspective. You run a business or are aspiring to run a business and aspiring to make your money in that business. So that's one perspective in terms of finding your purpose and finding the stuff that you love. Another filter is, and maybe also actually with that, on the business piece, I would say there are a lot of us that are selling something that can't be seen. When you're a coach, or, you know, when you're providing a service, you're a consultant, you're a speaker, it's not like you're saying, I'm selling this thing. Do you like it? Have a look at it. And if you love it, then buy it. It's often that you're selling something that can't be seen. That doesn't make it bad or worse or more difficult. It just means that you need to speak more about what that does for somebody else in a different way. Now, if you're watching this and you've got a business that's a bricks and mortar business, it's a shop and you sell glasses of lemon water, for example, don't discount this and think, well, that doesn't include me, because we've all met people in either a shop environment. I mean, I was employed before I started my business, and I remember through my own sins for working quite late, I got to know all of the cleaners on first name terms. Yes, they cleaned the building, but you could see the ones that were doing something on purpose. Yeah. Even if cleaning wasn't their purpose, it might be the cleaner that was the people person that cheered you up if you were feeling down. They're still living their purpose. So if you are in a job or are at work and you're thinking, I'd like to start a business one day, but that time's not now, use the time to pay attention to what your purpose is. Because whereas when you're self-employed, you might be able to put your prices up or charge, you know, a different fee for something. For many of you that are working in a job, regardless of the sector, if you're living on purpose, it shines out of you. You have all that confidence at that end of year review or appraisal to go up to your boss and say, this is what I've been doing really well. And if the boss rejects it, you've got that like fire inside you that says, fine, I'll go into a different department, building, or even another company, and I'll do more of the same. So I don't want you to watch this and kind of like exclude this and think, oh, this is just for business people who are coaches, or this is just for people who have their own business. Because whether you're Richard Branson, whether you're the post room boy, you know, whether you are a well-known speaker, whether you're considered a guru, an author, this is just as applicable for all of you, which is why we had to get Lyndsey here. So that's my,
I think whatever you're doing, because I worked in a corporate role for 10 years, 11 years before I started up my own business. And, you know, whatever you do, do it with passion and do it with purpose. While you're there, you know, whatever role you are, go for it and, you know, really push forward and just love what you do, because it makes life easier, doesn't it? When you spend the whole day like just really sort of zooming through the day, you know, the 9 to 5, which isn't normally 9 to 5, it's normally 9 till 9 if you're in a sort of corporate job.
11:30 at night.
You know, it's, you know, just people will pick up on that energy and passion. So whether you know, if you've got clients, they will pick up on it. You know, it's that whole shine thing. It's get yourself seen in whatever role you're in, because, you know, if you're in a job, that's the way you get a promotion. You know, if you run your own business, that's the way you get clients in. So it's just whatever you do, be passionate about it. And if you can't be passionate about it, then explore. You're not in the right place. You are just not in the right place. So explore what else you could be doing, and what else you might be better at doing. Because you know, you might be sort of good at something, but there's something that you might be absolutely brilliant at. You know, a real natural at.
And there's something that you said that kind of like segues perfectly into really my next question, I guess. So I alluded to, and you also alluded to, your corporate life. So can you give us a bit of background about how you got involved in becoming a star maker? I'm going to call you an expert on this because I really feel that you are. What led you to really hone in on this?
Yeah. Well, I sort of worked my way up various PR, public relations agencies. So my job was to get people and businesses and brands into the media. So I'd be working with, you know, I'd be working on fantastic sort of celebrity brands and champagne brands, but also very basic product brands. And the whole role was to influence journalists and other influencers to get people talking about that brand or person, and you know, to get them seen. So and what I sort of discovered, especially sort of starting my own business up as well, because I started my own business as a PR company, is that half of the PR successes was to do with, you know, my practical talent, but the other half was really to do with that person's energy and whether that person was, you know, ready to be seen or had any doubts about being seen, because it can be quite frightening. You put yourself out there and, you know, people are going to judge you in a good way or a bad way, and that's, you know, that's pretty terrifying sometimes. So yeah, it's to do with, you know, feeling good about being out there, feeling good about being seen, and the way that we do that is not necessarily to do with the way we look. It's to do with the way we feel about ourselves. So feeling that alive and on purpose. And I found that the people that were really sort of had that great energy would get the great PR as well. So it you know, that's how I've come to it really. So it takes all sorts of things to make a star. So whoever you are, it's really about how you feel about your work in the world. And the people who found that their message or their purpose or their, you know, their business was really, really important, would go much further, because, you know, they had that energy to sort of push it through. And that's the star really. It's not necessarily to do with, you know, all the sparkly stuff and the red carpet parties and all of that kind of stuff. You know, the star is having, you know, feeling that our work in the world is really, really important. And that can be anything. You know, I specifically work with people who do good stuff, so, you know, who help people in other ways. You might work for a charity, or you might work for a business that you think is really supporting people, but if you believe in that business, then that energy is going to take you a lot further than if it's just a job to you. You know, if I'm just doing it because, you know, times are tough, or, you know, that you think there's not and there's not anything else out there for you. It's to do with having that sort of star persona, and people can see it, can't they? People recognize that sort of, it's that sparkly eyed sort of you know, real passion. You know, people want to be around people like that. And you know, you talked about sort of you know, people who work in a shop, for example. You know, people buy from people. I will go to places where I think the person's really sort of energetic and fabulous, and you know, the service is really great. So people definitely buy from people, and it's that, if you can sort of capture that star persona, then that's half of your job, really.
And it's so funny because I was reflecting as you said that. People often think it's about manufacturing something, manufacturing a part of themselves. It's like, it's funny because you probably noticed that I've got this sparkly, I've actually got blue on today. I one day bought this sparkly gold eyeliner, and I had this really bad habit of saving things for best. You know, oh, well, I've got these new shoes or new dress, I'll wait until something happens. And I realised that, like, for a year I had this sparkly gold eyeliner, and I just thought, you know what, today's the day that I'm going to start wearing the freaking eyeliner.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, I have people that I don't even know that say, oh, I saw a video of you, or I saw you at such and such an event. I remember your gold eyeliner. And it's like, it's become synonymous with me. It's something I love. Who would have thought that that was even part of my brand or part of who I am? And that wasn't contrived. It was just something I did naturally. Now that's a really kind of silly example and small example.
No, but it's the way it makes you feel, isn't it? You can put on, you know, you can put on a certain outfit, or you can have like a, you know, a perfume, or, you know, an aftershave, or, you know, a certain briefcase, and really feel the business. And it's because you feel like that. You know, it might not be somebody else's cup of tea at all, but you know, I will always love glitter, just for the record. But, you know, it's what you, it's the way something makes you feel. If you feel great, then other people will pick up on that, and that's, you know, that is the way to get seen energetically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the way that you talk about getting seen energetically, because I was having this conversation with one of my clients actually a couple of days ago. It's like, I don't know why we use this analogy, you know, bees attracting to your honey. And I'm like, well, actually, it's not honey they're attracted to, it's the pollen. They make the honey, you know, but it's that whole piece of, it's like, there's something about you.
Yeah.
And people often think or fall into the trap that it has to be something about you, has to be big, boom, wow, special. Especially like people that I speak to who are introverted think that they have to be out there and loud. And I talk about visibility being like standing out, but it doesn't mean standing out like, whoa, here I am, I'm in the room. Must be the same for you, because you're a star maker. And yes, of course, sometimes you've put people on TV or in a magazine. But, you know, if you have got a certain slant that you go towards, and maybe you're the person that does the stuff behind the screen, not on video, maybe you're a blogger or something like that. It's just about really getting out there, is getting your essence, your energy out there, so people go, whoa, and they're like a magnet.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
And being really sort of sure of your message as well. So being sure that what you're going out and saying isn't the same as everyone else, because a lot of people in work and business sort of say the same things. We sort of say, oh, we're really dynamic and we're very professional and we're very results driven. But, you know, absolutely everybody says that. So, you know, if we can go out and say something and be sure it's totally unique to us, then we don't have to compare ourselves to anyone. So we don't think, oh, we know we're not loud enough, or perhaps we're too loud, or, you know, we're this, or, you know, we don't look a certain way, or we're I'm not tall enough. You know, we don't feel like that, because we feel actually what we've got to say is really, really important, and people should listen to it. So we don't have to shout it. We just have to know what that message is, and talk about that message. You know, whether you talk about it loudly or quietly is up to you. But, you know, like you said, it's, you know, there's something about that person that we're attracted to, and I think we all we sort of vibe to get together with the people that we're meant to vibe together with. You know, we're totally attracted to the right people, the people that we need. So if there's something that we want and that person has got it, we go to that person specifically, don't we? We're sort of very attracted to that person.
Exactly.
And also, talking about attractiveness, you know, when you sort of see a man or a woman that you really fancy, it might not necessarily be that they've got a six-pack or you know, they're a hot chick. It's something about that person. It's, you know, it's something about their personality that you like, or just the way that they are. So you know, that's quite a nice analogy in work as well. You know, we are all attracted to different people, and one of the things that I think is important to learn is that we don't have to appeal to everyone. You know, there are certain sort of people that we will appeal to and certain people that we won't appeal to, and you know, we have to be fine with that, because there's plenty of people that will love us even as there's people that hate us.
So, I mean, that is such a good point. And in the kind of realms of, we often compare and things like that. One of my most difficult journeys, I mean, I've been in business for like 5 years. I've gone kind of over the 5-year mark now. And one of the things I always found is the getting started. So if somebody is watching this, whether they've been an established person and they're kind of in the mindset of, I want to start doing things differently, or whether they're aspiring or they're new at this, how can they get started? What's something practical they can do to get started with finding who they are?
Yeah, so I think the practical thing, so like, it's just getting to know yourself. I don't know why I'm talking about relationships so much at the moment, but it's almost like dating.
It's probably picking up on my vibe.
Yeah,
I'm on the hunt, men of the world. I'm on the hunt.
Okay. That'll be it. Cool, Jenny.
Don't do, you know, relationship advice. No.
It's getting to know yourself, like dating yourself. So, you know, because I think sometimes we fall into the trap of being a people pleaser. So, you know, even when we're with a group of friends, they might suggest something, you know, oh, let's go to that museum, or let's go to that theme park, or let's go to this country, and you sort of go along with it, and it's not really you. So but you're happy to go along with it because you go with the flow. But you might like something else entirely different. So find out what you like. Take yourself out on a date, and take yourself out to an art gallery, or take yourself out to something creative or something really scientific. You know, find out, spend some time with yourself, and don't be afraid to be with yourself, and find out what you really like, and you know, start sort of, I guess this is really for, I don't know, maybe not so younger people, but people, you know, find your own opinion. You know, just really think about what you think about things that are happening in the world. Like, what do you think? So it's just about sort of getting to know yourself. And the way that I look at it is, everything that we've done in our lives, or everything that's happened, like good and bad, they're all stepping stones to where we are now. They're all, we've learned a lesson from everything that's happened, haven't we? So and also the type of person we are, and the type of things that people, you know, really sort of take account of what people have said to you in your lives. Like, you know, when I do sessions, I take people right back to their childhood and say, you know, what did your teachers say about you in primary school, and you know, what happened when you were sort of 7. You know, they're the really fascinating things, because that's sort of early influence, and the way we were, the people we were at sort of 5 are, you know, really influence the people we are now. So I take people back and say, what happened here, and it's really, really interesting.
I love that because it's so, I'm smiling because I think of things that I did as a very small child. I was reminiscing with one of my friends yesterday, and I remember dancing to Heart of Glass, Blondie at 4 at the school disco, when I just used to dance and just do that, you know, because I was kind of like, didn't know what I was doing. But that love of music never left me. I absolutely adore music, you know. And one of the things that people find hardest to answer is the good old-fashioned question, who are you?
Yeah.
That's a great way to kind of to get in there, isn't it, to find out who you are. And as doing that, for any of you watching, probably including Lyndsey, thinking, what was Jenny doing? I was actually typing down what you said. I love that. So you said, like, find some time or take some time to find out what you like. You also said find your own opinion. It's like finding your own voice, isn't it? And you also said what I loved, I couldn't type it down quickly enough, you know, but everything that's happened, good or bad, are stepping stones. And they're 3 pretty fundamental big pieces, aren't they? Really big pieces.
Yeah, I think so. And we don't realise, we think, like, I think some people think, oh God, I wasted all that time. And because I thought that when I set up my business, I set it up, I was 32 when I set it up. And I thought, even though I thought in corporate, I'd sort of got to the top level I could get to, and then I'll start up my business. And now I see sort of women, young women, not even going to university, and being brave enough to start up their own businesses.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it's brilliant. And I think
like this new wave, or maybe we're kind of little old ladies already, but I think that I love it when, you know, especially people out there in the world that are talking about kind of like slightly different subjects, spirituality, you know, and personal growth. And, you know, some people might say, well, you're too young to know that. Well, everybody's had a path. And it's funny because the more of it I notice, there's some absolutely amazing women out there that are like 20s and early teens. So they're really changing the world.
It's so exciting. And I think, you know, maybe the whole sort of issue of people not being able to get jobs in the world at the moment is not such a bad thing necessarily, if it means that they can make that step and set up their own businesses. I think that's quite an exciting thing to happen. But yes, I think what I was sort of, my point was that we think, oh, that, you know, all those years, did I waste all those years doing something totally different? And no, exactly, not at all, because we've learnt not only the art of business, for example, but you know, we've learnt who we are and who we're not, who we want to be like and who we don't want to be like. You know, what we learn, what we love in the world and how we want to be in the world. And I think you're right, that is, you know, that who am I? That's such a fundamental life question, isn't it? And until we sort of know that, then the people around us can't know that. And I'll go back to dating again for some reason. You know, if you went on a dating website and said, oh, you know, my name's Lyndsey and I love bungee jumping and, you know, throwing myself up planes, and, you know, I got that, you know, I got people who were into bungee jumping, and, you know, I'd hate it. You know, you have to be really clear about who you are to attract the right people in your life. So yeah, and the same goes for work as well. You know, it's important to be really clear so that you can attract your dream clients or your dream work in the world. And we know that that's well paid, you know, people who are really grateful for what you do, people who understand what you do, they're, you know, they love what you do, and you're making a real difference to them and their business in what you do. So that's, in terms of work, that's, yeah, who am I is a really, really important question. And it's sort of, I think it's fundamental to our happiness as well, isn't it?
It is. And it's funny because I reflect back as you speak about this on my journey. When I went into business, you know, 2010, if you'd asked me what I did, I'd have said coaching and training on one hand, cakes and chocolates on the other. And for those of you that kind of like knew me in those phases, I would whip up a really awesome 3-dimensional birthday cake, wedding cakes. I used to make all of that. Because I genuinely believed that the way to get out there in business was, well, I can do everything for everybody. I can train anything. I can coach anything. I can make cakes for any occasion. Yes, that's true. Then something really funny happened. I went to somebody's event down near Bournemouth, and the Freemasons were having a convention of some sort, like this black tie do. And, you know, when you go to events and you meet someone or meet people that you've never met before and you just form a bond, there were 4 of us. We were like the naughty 4, giggling and carrying on. So we were like, oh, my gosh, what's going on over there? You know, all this black tie stuff looking. So we were trying to blend in. I mean, we weren't even dressed in black tie stuff. And as we got closer to this group of people, we literally like nearly fell over. You know, the red ropes, the little like velvet ropes. We literally fell over one. And I remember saying to this woman, I've still got a photo of it, you know, I'm going to take a picture, because this rope is designed to keep the people in that need to be in and out that this probably isn't for them.
Yeah.
So, and it was just such a, like, it was a powerful real life metaphor, because once I realized that, I thought, I know I can help everybody, but do I want to help everybody? Okay, maybe have clients that don't like what I say, disagree, argue, clients that don't pay, businesses that don't value what I do, you know, businesses that say you've got funny, glittery stuff on your eyes, get out of town, you know. And when I started to hone on, it wasn't even like niching. I have a bit of a beef about niching, but I'll keep that rant for another time. what it was for me, it was like a list of characteristics. And in a way, dating's a good analogy, because so many people say, I want to meet a man, you know, 6'2", brown hair, green eyes, you know, is a doctor. And you meet the man and you're like, gosh, he's so boring.
Yeah.
So what about the characteristics or the traits of that person? Like, what characteristics do they have, but what characteristics do you have when you're with them? So I started looking at this, and you know, to be fair, a lot of people were saying, you know, put out more review and all of that, but for some reason I didn't hear it. It took me 20 odd times of hearing it before I got it. So after the whole red rope thing happened, I started to think about what sorts of people would I like to work with. Actually, I'd like to work with people that are a little bit outside of the box, maybe in their beliefs and what they do. And like today, I look at the clients that I have and I'm like, I feel like the luckiest woman on the planet, because the men that work with me, the women that work with me are just so yummy. I just feel so like really blessed that I can speak to them. So for anyone that's kind of got a skeptical filter on out there, which I think is a healthy thing to have that skeptical filter, but try something different. What have you got to lose? It's so strange. Try it. Write down the characteristics of the people that you love, and also the people or the person that you want to be with them, and watch what happens. It's like magic.
Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? You know, the way that other people, so the way we are, can we be ourselves? You know, that's a sign of a true friend, isn't it? When you can be totally yourself and you feel really sort of lit up around that person, like, oh, I can do anything around that person. That should be your work environment as well. And I think we have this massive culture of bullying and competition in the work environment, you know, especially in corporate. And it's, you know, we can choose not to be there. We can choose not to take part in that. We can choose not to you know, gossip or be mean about other people. We can choose to surround ourselves with people who are great people, but that is a lot to do with who we are as well, and how sort of comfortable we are, and that not needing to be validated by anyone else, being really sort of comfortable in our own skin. And I think that's a sign of a star as well. That's sort of that feeling good about who we are.
I love that, because I know that you like offer a coaching program called Shine Brighter, and it's for people in business who are very important people. They're VIPs, you know. And I love that you sort of mix more of who you are in helping people through sort of, you know, bespoke coaching and different sessions. You help them to uncover their uniqueness, and you help them to feel amazing about what they do, so they can really, really shine their light. I love that. I think that's such a juicy package. So one of the things that I want to ask you kind of in closing is, you know, in terms of like, in corporate, they say, oh, you need to be here for a certain amount of time and work your way up, and in 10 years too, you know, you'll be great. What do you say to that?
Well, I think there's credence in spending time in your role, but I think that the things that we're naturally good at, aren't we? So, and I think that we should be able to, you know, find out what we're really, really good at, and just go out and do that. Just, you know, just be okay, you know, at being that person. So, and one of the things that I do in my coaching is I work one-to-one intuitively, and that's, you know, that's certainly nothing I've ever learned in my years in business. So, and something that I've had to be brave and say, you know, I do this, and it's something that I'm really, you know, good at. So it's, you know, just go out and find out what you're really good at, find out who you are, and apply that in your role. You know, even if you're in a corporate role, just go and do that. And I just think the business is changing now, and there aren't any rules anymore. You know, a business job isn't for life anymore, is it? You know, and business loyalty isn't necessarily there. So you have to sort of pick yourself, you have to choose yourself, and you have to promote yourself. And the only way you can do that is work out what makes you shine. So I think that's, you know, that is the key to getting on in life, whoever you are and wherever you are, is just working out, you know, what you're here for, and just doing whatever you can to do that, because, you know, what you might get to it in 1 year's time you might get to it straight away. It might be 10 years down the line, but you'll get to it because you're meant to get to it, and you'll eventually be doing it. So you might as well do it now.
Exactly. And it's like the rules are, there are no rules. So, I mean, there's so much more that people can kind of contact you for and speak about. So how can people find out more about you?
Well, I've got my website, which is lyndseywhiteside.com. So that's probably the best way to sort of have a scooch around and read that and see if you resonate with who I am and my business. There's lots of red and there's lots of sparkle on there. So if that appeals to you, then you're probably my type of client. And otherwise, I'm on Facebook or Twitter, Lyndsey Inspired on Twitter, or LinkedIn. So I'm pretty much all over social media. So yeah, come find me.
Okay, so if you want to contact Lyndsey, Lyndsey is spelled Lyndsey Whiteside, as per her banner on the screen. But just in case you're listening to this and trying to do something else and not watching the screen, her surname is Whiteside. So try lyndseywhiteside.com, look for her on Twitter, Lyndsey Inspired, and on Facebook. And yeah, definitely, if you are sitting there thinking, my life's pretty okay, but something doesn't feel quite like fulfilled or right, it's likely that you probably need Lyndsey's help. So thank you so much for sharing that time with me. And
thank you, Jenny. I enjoyed that.
Mess up your day or anything like that. So is there anything else that you want to say before we leave? Or
no, I think I mean, just picking up on what you just said, you know, we can be, it's totally okay to be happy in our lives and good at our jobs, but I think that, you know, if you have that sort of niggling feeling that you're meant for something else, that there's something else out there for you, that there's something you're doing but you've just forgotten, you know, something you're meant to be doing but you've forgotten what that is, then just explore that. That's all I want to say, is that you don't have to do anything with it, but just have a think about it. Just look into it, because I think, you know, if you feel like that, if you get that niggling feeling, then that's something is calling you.
No, that's excellent. Thank you so much, Lyndsey, for spending this time. It's been fun. And yeah, just enlightening. And I love it, because without even needing to say it, you're on purpose. You're doing exactly what you speak about, what you preach. And I love that.
Oh, thank you. And you.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, until next time, you know, look for Lyndsey online, on social media. Go and have a look at her website, and, you know, get your hands on that juicy package. That sounded wrong, but you know what I meant. So, what a way to end the interview. So I look forward to seeing you all out there in the world doing your thing, living your purpose, and come and say hi to us all. My URL for my website is on there, and hopefully you're looking at the YouTube channel. I do lots of interviews, lots of answers to your questions in terms of visibility and getting out there, whereas Lyndsey's dime is really getting you in the public eye. Mine's just helping you to stand out so that your people can find you. So you know, let's keep connected, ask any questions, and until the next episode of Jenny on the Telly, I'll see you then. So bye for now.
Bye.